Okay, a very good morning, dear students. Welcome to my channel Maths with Mahanti sir. Children, in the last class, we were discussing how to convert an inclusive type group frequency distribution to an exclusive type. Means, if the group frequency distribution is discontinuous, how to make it continuous. That means how to make the classes continuous. Okay, how to prepare a continuous frequency distribution which is exclusive type, and what is the necessity of exclusive type or continuous group frequency distribution? You know that already I have discussed. It is necessary because if the classes are not continuous, we cannot represent the data graphically by means of a histogram or your frequency polygon that we are going to discuss later. Okay. So it is necessary that the frequency distribution must be a continuous one, where the classes should be continuous, means exclusive type, means the upper limit of every class must coincide with the lower limit of the next or succeeding class. How it is to be done? If the classes are not continuous or inclusive, how will you change it into continuous? It was discussed by me in the last class. Now children, the point is, one thing we must discuss, it was there of course in class 8, I do not know how many of you have understood as well as remembered. Suppose you are given a large variety of observations or data or information. How will you prepare a frequency distribution? How will you prepare a continuous frequency distribution out of a given set of observations or data? Means if you are given a distribution having say 30 to 40 observations, how will you prepare a continuous frequency distribution? What are the steps? Let me discuss with the help of one example. So today let us discuss how to construct group frequency distribution. Group frequency distribution or continuous frequency distribution. In order to understand how to construct a continuous frequency distribution or what are the steps, let me take one example and explain what are the steps. You see. Suppose you are given 40 observations. Look at the distributions. I have written 40 observations. 31, 23, 19, 29 like this. Okay. Each row contains 10 observations. So there are 4 rows and the 4 rows contain definitely 40 observations. Now if you are given this observation, this distribution, how will you prepare a continuous frequency distribution? What are the steps? See. The first step, what is the first step? The first step is you find out which is the minimum score and which is the maximum score. You see, the minimum score, if you look at the distribution, this is the minimum score 10 and the maximum score is 38. Okay. After locating the minimum and maximum score, the first step is you find the range, and you know what is range of a distribution because already I have explained in previous class. Range means it is the difference between the maximum and the minimum score or observation, or the highest observation minus lowest observation. Okay. So the first step is you find range. Range is 38 minus 10. It is 28. Okay. Now after finding the range, what you will do? What is the next step? The next step is we have to choose appropriate size of the class. Our aim is what? Our aim is to prepare a continuous group frequency distribution. And in continuous group frequency distribution, each data must be a group data or class interval. So how to get those? If each data is a group data or class interval, then each class interval has a size or width. And you know what is size or width of class? It is the difference of upper limit and lower limit. Already I have this. Suppose 10 to 20 is a class interval. If I say 10 to 20 is a class interval, what will be the size? The size or width of this class will be 20 minus 10. It is 10. This 10 is the width or size of this class or class interval or group data. So, after finding the range of the given distribution, the next step is we have to choose appropriate size. Now you can ask me, sir, how to choose size or width of class? Actually, there is no hard and fast rule in choosing the size or width of a class or class interval in order to prepare continuous group frequency distribution. You can choose size on your own as per your decision. One thing we have to keep in our mind, if the size or width of class is more the size or more the width of class, the less will be what? The less space the distribution will occupy. That means number of classes will be less if the size or width of class is more. If the size or width of class interval is more, then number of classes will be less. I mean the distribution, the frequency distribution, continuous frequency distribution or group frequency distribution will be less, it will occupy less space, okay, if the size or width of class is more. And if the size is less, then definitely number of classes will be more, means size of the distribution will be more, okay. So there is no rule in choosing the scale, but one thing I would like to say, the scale is generally chosen, generally, mark the term, generally. Scale, I mean the size of class or class interval is generally chosen as 5 or a multiple of 5. Means you will choose the size as 5, 10, 15, etc. But it is not necessary, it is not compulsory that we will always choose the size what? 5 or 10 or a multiple of 5. So we can take the size or width 3, 4, anything we like, okay. So suppose in this question, in this distribution, in order to prepare its frequency distribution, let us assume or let us suppose that the size of the classes which we are going to prepare, let the class size be 3 suppose, okay. Let, you see, the next step is you choose class size. Let size of class interval be suppose 3. Size or width of class interval, suppose I took 3, you can take 4, 5, etc. No problem. Now after choosing the size, what is the next step? The next step is you divide 28 by 3. That means the range must be divided by the class size. So what will happen if we divide range by class size? If we divide range by size, you see, so what we will get? It will give us number of classes or class intervals. How many classes or class intervals will come in the continuous frequency distribution can be known or obtained by dividing the range and size or width. So here it is 28 divided by 3. It will be 9.3, which is nearly equal to 10. You see, 9.3. Take the next round, take the next whole number. Okay, it is 10. That means this 10 will be number of classes or number of class intervals. There will be 10 number of class intervals in the continuous frequency distribution of this given data. Okay, if the class size is taken as 3, okay, because the range is 28, so 28 by 3 is 9.3, which is nearly equal to 10. So there will be 10 classes or 10 class intervals in the continuous group frequency distribution that we are going to what? Prepare or construct or make. Okay. So after getting this, what is our next step? Now our next step is we have to find the class limits, the first class interval. We have to find the first class interval of the group frequency distribution. How to get? Now look at the minimum score. It is 10. So that 10 you can take. You can take the minimum score as the lower limit of the first class interval. See, I have prepared here. This is the continuous frequency distribution. See, after finding the number of classes, you see what is the minimum score? 10. So let the minimum score 10. No, not necessary that the minimum score will be taken as the lower limit of the first class interval. You can choose anything. I have taken from 10 to 13. See, what I want to say, after finding the number of classes, see which is the minimum score. The minimum score is 10. You can take this minimum score as the lower limit of the first class. So if 10 is taken as the lower limit of the first class, then what will be the upper limit? You add the size, class size or width to the minimum score. So 10 plus 3 is 13. So if 10 is the minimum, 10 is the lower limit of the first class, then 13 will be the upper limit of the first class. Okay. And if 13 is the upper limit of the first class, then it will again become the lower limit of the second class, because we are going to construct only continuous frequency distribution or exclusive type. That means 13 will not come in the first class. It will go to the next class or next class interval. Okay. So if the upper limit is 30, so definitely the lower limit of the next class will be 13. And what will be the next upper limit of the second class? 13, again you add the class size 3. 13 plus 3, 16. You see I have written 13 to 16. Then 16 plus 3, 19. 19 plus 3, 22. 22 plus 3, 25. Like this you continue. You will continue up to what? See, look at the maximum score. It is 38. We have to go up to 38 at least, because 38 is the maximum score or observation, and it must be included. It must find a place in the classes. Okay, in the continuous frequency distribution, it must be a score. It must find some place in the continuous frequency distribution. Okay, so see, I have gone up to 40, and now look at these class intervals. If you look at these class intervals minutely, see, in every class, look at the upper limit, lower limit, upper limit, lower limit, upper limit of one class, look at the upper limit of one class and the lower limit of the next or the succeeding class. What do you find? What do you observe? You find or you observe that in each class we find that the upper limit of one class is coinciding with the lower limit of the next class or the succeeding class. That means the upper limit of one class and the lower limit of the next class are same. Okay, so no doubt it is what? It is a continuous frequency distribution. Okay, children, this is a continuous. That means the classes are continuous. What is our aim? Our aim is to make the classes continuous, so that it will be a continuous group frequency distribution, and we can present this information in terms of what? We can present this graphically by means of histogram or your frequency polygon or cumulative frequency polygon. There are different ways to represent data graphically. Okay. Thus, I got all the classes continuous. Then how to get the frequency? For getting frequency and tally, you see, tally is compulsory, you have to show it here. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see, how to get this frequency 4? You see, how to get this frequency 4? Now, what is the first class interval? It is 10 to 13. 10 to 13. 10 to 13. But 13 is coming in the next class. So 13 will not be included in the first class because it is excluded. That is the reason why it is an exclusive type continuous frequency distribution. Okay. So we will go up to 12, 10, 11 and 12. In the class interval 10 to 13, what are the scores or observations? They are 10, 11 and 12, not 13. 13 will come in the next class. Now you see 10, 11 and 12, which are the three observations between 10 and 13. How many times they occur in the distribution? See, I am just doing one, rest you do yourself. 10 to 12, you see, count, you see 1, 10 here, 12 is here, you see, another 10 here, another 11 here, see, 10, 11, 12 and 10. That means 10, 11 and 12, they occur how many times? 4 times. So the frequency is 4. You show it by means of tally, 4 tallies. Okay. So this is the first class. 4 frequency is 4 tally. Okay. Now 13 to 16, second class interval. 13 to 16 means 13, 14 and 15. 16 will go to the third class. So 13, 14 and 15, how many times they occur in the distribution? You count from the table. From the distribution table, you count and write there. They occur 5 times. I have counted and I have written on the board. You see, 13 to 15, these 3 observations occur 5 times in the distribution. So the frequency is 5. So like this, you find the frequency of each class continuous class. Okay, find the frequency of each continuous classes and show them by tally. After finding the frequencies, you add all the frequencies. It will be equal to 40 because I have already said that in any distribution, whether it is exclusive or inclusive, whatever the case may be, sum of frequency, it will always be equal to total number of observations. That means if you add all the frequencies, whatever sum is obtained, that will be equal to total number of observations. Here total number of observations is 40 in this particular question. And you see, sum of frequency is also 40. So in any distribution, whether continuous or discontinuous, that is exclusive or inclusive, the sum of frequencies will always be equal to the total number of observations. So children, I hope you understood how to prepare a continuous group frequency distribution if you are given a large number of data. Okay. First step, find the range by taking the difference of maximum score and minimum score. Then second step, what is the second step? Second step is you choose some size. I have taken 3, you may take 4, 5 as you like, no problem. Generally the scale is, generally the size is chosen as 5 or a multiple of 5, but it is not necessary that you will always choose the size 5. If you choose size more or width of classes more, then number of classes or class interval will be less. I mean the size of the distribution will be very small. But if you choose less size, if you took width of classes less, then number of classes will be more. Okay, number of class interval in the frequency distribution will be more. Okay, then divide the range and size to get the number of class intervals or classes. After getting number of classes, how many classes are to be shown on the frequency distribution, Take the minimum score as the lower limit of the first class, then add the size to it, you will get the upper limit. And after getting the upper limit, since the classes are continuous, the upper limit of one class will be the lower limit of the next class, and you add the size, okay, size or width to the upper limit, lower limit to get the upper limit. Okay, like this you will all get all continuous classes, and then you count the number, how many times the observations included in a class are there in the distribution. How many times, suppose 10 to 13 means 10, 11 and 12. How many times do they occur in the distribution? You count, write the frequencies, show them by tally, and ultimately or in the end you add all the frequencies. It should be equal to the total number of observations. Then only you will confirm that your frequency distribution is correct. Otherwise there is some error. Check it once again. If at all you saw, suppose while calculating frequency you did some mistake. Suppose by mistake while calculating you did some mistake. Then these totals, sum of frequencies, if it will never be equal to 40. That is the total number of observations. And if at all this happened, if you saw that the sum of frequency is not equal to the total number of observations given in the question, then you will come to know that there is some error. I have done some error somewhere in calculating the frequencies. So do check once again and it will be definitely correct. You will definitely get the correct frequency by counting once again. Okay. So children, I hope you understood what are the steps to prepare a continuous group frequency distribution. Children, I tried my level best to explain you the concept of frequency distribution, different types, conversion, how to prepare frequency distribution, etc. So with this knowledge, with this idea in our mind, we can now further proceed to the next section of this chapter, statistics, that is graphical representation of data. How data or information is represented graphically by means of histogram, frequency polygon, etc. For that, it is very, very essential that one must understand the concept of continuous frequency distribution. Okay. So in the next class, we are going to discuss what is histogram, how it is constructed. Children, you know it in class 8, but once again we will discuss how to construct histogram of continuous frequency distribution. Okay, so I hope whatever I discussed till late you must have understood in statistics. Okay, if at all it is true, if you think yes, the way Mahathi sir explains we are able to understand everything, then I must say children, you please hit the like button and subscribe my channel. Okay, so we shall again meet in the next class with the discussion of what? Graphical representation of data, that is histogram. Because bar graph, you know, there is no need to discuss about bar graph. You are reading bar graph from class 6. So I will directly discuss what is histogram. Just while discussing histogram, I will give you the, I will discuss the concept of, the difference between histogram and bar graph. It is also another graphical method of representing data. But what is the difference between histogram and bar graph? I will discuss in the next class. Okay, thank you.